Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. Your decisions, my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hello there, good people. I hope that you are doing well, that you're feeling safe and loved. Welcome for joining the real journey of the entrepreneur. I am so excited to have you come back and visit me, which means that I guess you like me, which is great. But if you don't, still enjoy the information. Anyway, I am Anita Pierce, the host and producer of The Real Journey of the Entrepreneur. I am also a business owner of 11375, which, we focus on some stuff, some good stuff all the time. And we help other small businesses to understand the foundations that exist within the process of entrepreneurship. But you'll learn more about what we do holistically as an organization. But if you want, just follow us on all the social platforms. We are on all the social platforms under 11375. So as I say, I always have the best seat in the house. I think so because I get to interview some very courageous entrepreneurs who are willing to share their real process, their journey with us all. And I am sure that my next guest, Miss Pamella Terry, will be able to give you more insight, a lot that I can't give you because she specializes in something that I know that most of us, specifically as entrepreneurs, are dealing with. One, dealing with our mental wellness, our mental health. Like, what does that look like overall as an entrepreneur? How important is it for us to be able to take care of ourselves in order to be able to produce the amazing products and services that we're going to be offering or that we are offering to our clients? Self care is not optional. And we also need to have someone to give us direction in our lives. So that is why we have our guest for today, which I'm going to introduce because I am even more excited to learn more what you don't know, what you're about to know, and also how we can get some tools and resources to help us with all this stuff that's happening. So enough talking about me. I'm going to just bring on my guest. Here we go. Hello!
Hello, how are you today? So good to see you. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to be seen and glad to have you be here today. So, Pamella, I know you have an extensive bio. You are very, very well educated. You have a lot of experience, but I would rather not tell your story. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are.
Yes, thank you so much, first of all, for having me on your show. This is such a pleasure and an honor for me to be here. As you mentioned, I am Pamella Terry. I do many things, but mainly I am a mental health therapist. So just a little bit about me. My career started out as a school psychologist. I worked as a school psychologist for about 15 years, and then an administrator for an educational system where I supervise psychologists and social workers in the field that work, excuse me, to support children and their families on various levels. And over the last 4 years, I have been the founder and creator of the Point of Light Counseling, which is my baby. And it's so special to me because mental health is key to overall physical health.
Hmm.
And so I am a mental health therapist as well. And I see clients as young as 10 or maybe 10, and all the way through adulthood. And so it's been such a pleasure to work with families in the school setting, and many of what they were experiencing was that they needed a place where they can also have their mental health concerns addressed, right? And so in some cases, families were having turmoil or traumatic experiences, and it would impact how each member was able to function in their own lives, from children to parents to grandparents. And so for me, it was really important for me to be able to tap into another level of support that I can offer families, whether it's couples, because I do see couples as well in couples therapy, parents in dealing with their children or with their own concerns, and even children, individuals with ADHD or who have diagnoses on various levels. And so that's how I decided to create and develop the Point of Light, because the Point of Light for me is when each person can get to the point in their life, even in a place of darkness or of uncertainty, because not everyone is in a dark place, but just a point of uncertainty, needing support in trying to find the right direction for them or to find answers to the questions that they have about themselves. Getting to that point of light where a person has clarity is so enlightening, not just for them, but it brings me joy to see how, when provided with those tools and strategies, that they're able to apply them and enter into a space where they can say, I've arrived. I've finally made it to the point of light in my life.
Wow. Okay. Now where do I begin? Hmm. So you mentioned a number of areas that you help to provide support to um, your clients. So I noticed that you mentioned working with youth. You
Yes.
you work with individuals and you work with couples. And
Yes.
so I guess my follow-up question would be specific to, I'll start with the youth, right? Because I know that there's a special really high need right now, specifically as we are all entering or trying to figure out what our new normal is post this pandemic, or while we're
Yeah.
still transitioning. So in terms of the young people, starting with them, have you noticed within your work, your clients that you're supporting, um, how do you support them? Given that they're still growing, specifically the young people, they're growing. We're all growing as adults, but it's different when you're dealing with youth and they're not really.
Yeah.
Um, Let me take that back, because we always sometimes say that what young people are not, and sometimes young people are much smarter than the
Right.
adults, in
Mhm.
my opinion. But they need the tools to be able to clearly articulate what's happening. What are you have you
Yes.
seen, like what have you seen within your experience, specifically with
Sure.
young people?
Yeah, definitely. Especially with our teens or preteens, what we call tweens. They are really in a point in their lives where they're trying to find themselves. Who am I?
Right.
And oftentimes that comes with self esteem issues, right? And so working with young girls, teenagers, or preteens about self esteem, helping them to build their self esteem and to stay in what I call reality. Many times when individuals lack self esteem, it's based off of this false reality, especially with social media, right? They look to see what their friends are doing. It appears that everyone is living this grand life, and then they look at themselves and say, my life is horrible. I
Mm.
don't get to do those things. And so when you stay in reality, and by bringing to their attention that, of course, individuals are going to post those fabulous pictures. No one's going to post their horrible pictures or their horrible moments. It would appear that someone is having this grand life. And of course, we want everyone to have a successful, enjoyable life. But oftentimes, especially for young people in that developmental stage, they're not seeing it for what it is. And so I like to work with young people to help them build, first of all, turn inward, look at self, and to really have them work through what I call gratitude activities, right? What are you grateful for? What are those blessings that you can find in your life that you can say, wow, without this, where would I be now? So this is truly a blessing for me. I've seen teenagers or young people go from really not wanting to exist to appreciating their life and finding renewed joy and satisfaction and being able to then create goals for themselves, right? And so their self esteem rises and it changes. And even for young male clients. Many of them not sure of what tomorrow brings, especially over the last few years, where we have seen men of color, people of color attacked in such horrible ways. I have had young male clients that were very worried, and rightfully so, about their future. And so that leads to anxiety, right? What does this world have to hold for me? What does this mean about me? What does this mean about me growing older? Will I get to see 20, 30? So my work has included that kind of support. I implement EFT, emotional therapy, DBT, family internal systems, as part of my strategies in working with my clients, whether they're teenagers, young adults, or older individuals.
Okay, which leads me to the next questions, which deals about um, your process in
Mhm.
terms of entrepreneurship in this space, right? Because um, when I think of someone who is a mental health therapist, a support system, many people may not think that that's a business, right? So, in terms of the business structure and operations, like how did you get your operational start? Like, what were your costs? How did you decide on the logo? What was that process for you on the business side?
Right. So the process for me, thankfully, did not start out as a lonely process. So first, I had to create my vision for what I wanted to see come to fruition. I knew what I wanted my business to speak to, right? And so when it came to creating the name, I believe that in each person there is light. And even when that light is dim, you can still find it again. And so it's about coming to that point of light. And there's even a scripture that speaks to coming to that point of light. And so that's how I envisioned and created my business in my mind. First, I had to have that vision, and then the logo. I actually worked with someone, a phenomenal young lady, and we both just went back and forth with different designs and logos. But when it comes to the overall business, thankfully, I've had several mentors that I've worked with who also have a private practice. And I just made sure I engaged them in conversation. I did my research. Google is a wonderful thing. I Googled everything and then confirmed it with other people in the business, because you can Google some information and it doesn't necessarily have to be the right information, but 9 times out of 10, you will find solid, concrete information. But I also wanted to tap into those individuals who are also in private practice, just to bounce ideas off of them and to get feedback. And so this is why I think mentorship is wonderful, because one of them said that they would take me on as a mentee, and the other one didn't even know she was my mentor, but I claimed her as a mentor because she gave me some really great information. So all in all, I did my own research, and then I made sure that I networked with individuals in the field. Um, it was a lot of work. I had to make sure I dotted my I's and crossed my T's. I went to several websites that really specialize in supporting therapists who were starting out in private practice. I found a wealth of information and just really made sure that I went through all the documents and all the information that I found. And I kind of looped back to ensure I did things correctly, and took it from there.
And what about your credentials? Because you're very well educated. If you all
Yes.
can check out um, Pamella's full bio on her website, which we're going to share later. But just in terms of credentialing, because I know that within a number of different states, credentialing is required
Yes.
or not, depending on the level of what is it, the level of experience that you are
Mhm.
working with clients or clients in general. Would you be able to elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So I am a mental health therapist, and so the credentialing for mental health therapists is that you would need to be licensed. I'm here in New York City, and so I did need to be a licensed mental health therapist. I am also a certified school psychologist, and I have several masters for administration and for business as well. And so many people in private practice, when it comes to counseling and therapy, there are some that are social workers, licensed counseling social workers. You have psychologists and psychiatrists who are also who can also be found in private practice as well.
So, I'm going to ask the question
Yeah.
because when we think about a psychologist, which you have that under your belt
Yes.
versus a psychiatrist, would you be able to explain the difference just slightly?
Absolutely. Psychiatrists can prescribe medication, and they can actually diagnose individuals as well with any mental illness. Psychologists can diagnose as well, but they aren't licensed to prescribe medication like psychiatrists are, but they can diagnose. Um, Social workers, clinical social workers, we all have the ability to diagnose based on the DSM, and licensed mental health therapists too.
So, thank you for that point of
Absolutely.
clarity. I want to deepen and ask just a follow up question about your operation. What were your startup costs for your business, if you had any?
Yeah, I do. So I actually um, didn't actually break it down,
Mhm.
but I can tell you what I did find that I needed to do. I wanted to have a convenient office space so that my clients can come from any area within New York City and be able to meet me at my private practice. So I rented space in two different offices, and I rented it on an hourly basis. So I had an office, and I'm saying had because since COVID, everything has turned to remote service. But I have an office on 34th Street, and I had an office on 56 and Broadway. So those are some of the costs that I incurred. And the rental for the spaces were anywhere between $300 to $400, um, either for the day, it depended on the day that I was utilizing or the space, or that I saw clients, or it was by the hour, which would be 100, 150 for the hour. And I started out seeing clients in my practice first 2 days a week, and then I increased it to 3 days a week. So that was one expense. Another expense is that I did hire someone to support me with the creation of my website. We worked very closely together, but this young lady did the heavy lifting. I thought it would be important for me to hire someone because I wanted my website to have a very professional look and touch. I'm not tech savvy. So I know when to hire someone with those skills and abilities, and I did. And so my work with her was charged on an hourly basis, very well worth it. And so she created my website. I also ensured that I invested in business cards, letterhead, paper, because oftentimes I have to write letters on behalf of my clients, whether it's for work or for um, court appearances. So I knew that to really make sure that my business is being presented professionally, that I had business cards and letterhead. I also got a therapeutic scheduling service that I pay for monthly, $65. It helps with scheduling appointments. It helps with the documents that all my clients have to fill out and send back. It's just all in one place. It's simple, as opposed to me having to create these documents, email them to my clients individually. I just enter their name and email address in this system, and it sends all the documents to them. They sign it, they e-sign, and they send it back. And there are so many websites for therapists that someone can choose from, and that's been a great support. It definitely helps with scheduling so that my clients aren't calling me to schedule and then I have to stop and schedule each person. They can literally go to this site once I send them the link, and they can request a date and time that they would like to be seen. Yeah.
So I want to highlight a couple of things that you mentioned, because oftentimes when one is starting, they think that they have to utilize and do every first, maybe, year or so you're figuring it out, but the key thing you mentioned is hire for things that you're not good at. We're not good at everything. That's the
Right.
first thing. Outsource the things that you know that you're not that great at. And
Absolutely.
also, since you are building this empire, you want to be in a CEO role, right? Where you're absolutely
Yes.
positively delegating things that someone else can do, because your time is very valuable. The other thing that you mentioned was about systems, right? Tools that you are using to help you to run your business efficiently. I didn't
Absolutely.
think about letterhead because I do everything electronically, but to your point,
Mhm.
what you mentioned about that's actually needed for
Yeah.
these to provide notes and other uh, documentation to facilitate and to support your client. So that's really amazing. But then you mentioned this little online, CRM, customer relationship management system that helps you with booking, that helps you
Yes.
with, allocating and sending out notices. I'm sure you don't want to spend your time,
Yeah.
booking and, picking up the phone. I know those things can be a little bit um, time consuming,
Right.
important, but time consuming. But I'm so happy to hear that you have those in place. And it doesn't sound like it was that heavy lift of an expense for you because
Yeah.
you're able to rent space, which is another thing that you mentioned,
Yes.
in terms of being able to um, have your operations run. So it's really important because it didn't sound like you made an investment, meaning like in purchasing a building. You found another solution that works best for
Right.
your budget. You're able to outsource the website. Like, how great is that? How
Yes.
great is that? And
And
so,
you made a very good point because time is money.
mhm,
And when I first started out, just like you said, sometimes it takes 6 months to a year. You're doing everything, and you're really trying to keep up. But I found I spent so much time doing that, and it was time that I could have seen clients, right? Time that I could have put to my business. So instead, I found it was just so beneficial to outsource, right? Go to my website, make the appointment instead of me sitting on the phone or emailing back and forth Tuesday at 3, Wednesday at 4. Okay, no, that doesn't work. Well, what about this time? No, you click on the calendar. Let the client have their calendar in front of them. They can look at my calendar, click on the date and time that works for them, and we're all done. And I'll see you at that time. What I do like to schedule are the consultations. And oftentimes I will speak personally to the client in scheduling the consultation. Or they can also schedule a consultation on the site as well. But some clients still like to, potential clients like to call to hear my voice. Can I speak to you to schedule that? That is perfectly fine. We get it on the schedule. We have our 30-minute consultations. But when you're handling all of these menial jobs, and it's not that I'm trying to put them down, it does eat up your time. It takes a big chunk of your time. And as an entrepreneur, you really want to focus on your business, on the meaty part of what needs to be handled or taken care of.
I that is, oh my gosh. Um, and focusing on the meaty part, you said, did you say the meaty
The
part?
meaty part of
The
your
meaty
business.
part of your business. You are the visionary of your business. You want to
Yeah.
be producing more and giving off of your gifts to this world and delegate. So
Yes.
so you mentioned entrepreneurship. So I wanted to focus on, mental health and the entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
You and I are both in this space of entrepreneurship, and I can tell you, um, yeah, it can get tough a lot of times. And oftentimes, as entrepreneurs, I have OGs in my life or original guardians or mentors in my life as well that I kind of go, hey, cuss word, this not working, cuss word. Yes, I do cuss when my child is not around, cuss
Yes.
word. But it's like, sometimes it's when you are creating and you are responsible for your economy, right?
Yeah.
It looks very different when, you know, you go in and you know that every 2 weeks or every week you have something coming. It looks a lot different. That pressure is there.
Yes.
How can an entrepreneur, right? Let's start with the the level of confidence that you have to have
Mhm.
and dealing with if you are a parent, a spouse, um, you know, dealing with yourself. I don't know where you want to start, but I just want to put that out there as a landing point for you to jump on.
Absolutely. So, entrepreneurship can be lonely, and that's not to scare anyone away, but it can be a lonely existence. And so, in speaking to people who are entrepreneurs, I have found that many of them wonder, just as you said, when you call someone, you call a colleague or a friend, and you say, oh my God, what am I doing? What is this? Why did I embark upon this? So, first of all, it's important for entrepreneurs to build themselves up first and to continue to work on themselves and make sure that they are in a good place as far as how they view themselves and the work that they're doing, right? Because there will always be windstorms that can blow you north, south, east, west. But you want to be able to withstand those storms, because after the storm, what typically comes out? The sun. And it's just like that with your business. So when you're blowing here and there and you're wondering, oh my goodness, is this going to blow me away? Trust me, the sun is soon behind that storm, and you will see it, and you will be able to thrive and to continue on. And so ensuring that an individual's mental health is intact, or that they are working toward that, and so that they are checking in with themselves, not personalizing. If there is something that doesn't go exactly how they plan, oh, well, what does that say about me? I'm not good enough. I can't do this. No, check in with yourself to be sure that you are staying, as I said before, in reality, right? Hey, this didn't go exactly how I planned. Let me see what I did and what can I learn from it. And how great of me to step out and take this chance or risk and say, let me see if I can make this work. And if it doesn't, what do I need to do differently for the next round? And so being secure within oneself, working on oneself, mental health, on their well-being, because mental health also leads to physical health, good physical health, and vice versa. Good physical health can also speak to one's mental health. It gives you the room and the space to be fully present for your business and to work your business to the best of your ability so that you can see, progress and produce and see the income come in and see why you even went into entrepreneurship, right? And that you have actually added or benefited other people's lives based on what you're doing.
Awesome. So as we wrap up, which
Okay.
went like that quick, right?
I
That quick.
know.
When you're having great conversations and learning, it goes really quick. So that's why you have to do a part 2. Has to be a part 2 and part 3
Okay.
maybe if it's on your schedule. So I have follow up 3 tips that you can offer for
Mhm.
how to manage your mental wellness. Like you started to the
Yes.
conversation, but what are 3 practical tips that you can offer?
Sure. So manage your mental wellness. First of all, I truly believe in journaling,
Mm,
right? Journaling is therapeutic. Write it down. When you're writing it down, you are on so many levels releasing it. You're also being able to better visualize whatever it is you're writing about. It could be what happened during the day in your business, how you're feeling about your business, your vision for your business, what you want to take place next, where you see you want to move your business to. Write it down, not the typing, oh, well, I'm just going to type my journal. There is something that is chemically released when you put pen to paper that solidifies it within you, and it helps with that therapeutic process if it is something that needs to be released. I believe in journaling, and there are some great journals out there with journal prompts. If there's an individual that needs prompts, some people will say, wow, I sat with my journal, I didn't know where to start, so I didn't write. Some people need the journal prompts, and that's perfectly fine. You can go to Barnes and Noble, Amazon, look up journals with prompts. There are even journals for people that own businesses that have prompts based on business. Or if you are someone that's used to writing, then let it flow. Release it. If it's the stress of the day, if it's a success of the day, if it's a question of the day, if it's how you're feeling about yourself and your progress, journal. That's number one. Number two, it is important that everyone feels that they have a safe space to go to talk, right? And what do I mean by that? Not everyone feels or will need to sit in a chair in a therapist's office, and that's perfectly fine. That safe space can be a partner, right? It can be a mentor. It can be in the therapist chair, absolutely. It can be your network. It can be anyone that you feel this is a safe space for me to really share all that I'm going through and I won't be judged, right? And that I can get, whether it's feedback or tips or just be heard. Every person needs that, and especially individuals who are entrepreneurs, because like I said, it can at times feel as though you are on the island by yourself, but please know you're not. And this is why you need that safe space. And there are many groups for entrepreneurs to come together so that they can get that support. Find that group in your field. I know I found a group for therapists, actually several. There are 3 groups for therapists. And when we come together, whether it's for training, whether it's for learning new techniques, or if it's just to say, hey, I'm hitting a brick wall here. This is the group that you go to for that support and for the encouragement and for next steps. So that would be number 2. Number 3, celebrate all of your successes. From the slightest, the smallest success to the big success. Many people feel that celebration of success should come when something huge and phenomenal has taken place. If your doors opened that day and the day before you didn't think that they would, that's cause for celebration. And what does celebration look like? It's different for everyone. So it doesn't have to be balloons and confetti every day, or it can be, whatever works for the person. But acknowledge and celebrate those successes. Entrepreneurs tend not to do the celebration, and that is critical. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, I was
Oh,
typing. I was
there
typing
you
and
go.
taking notes. So for those who didn't get it, here are just a little recap. Write it down with pen and paper. Find a safe, non-judgmental space for yourself and celebrate all of your successes.
Yes.
Boom. There you have it. Boom. So I'm not gonna let you go just of yet. Just yet.
Okay.
Just yet. So what I like to do is in closing of the show is these rapid fire 1-word questions.
Ooh.
Ready?
I think I am.
All right. Your favorite borough?
Oh, Manhattan.
Boo. What do you do in your downtime?
Read and write.
What do you do in your spare time?
Spend time with family.
Pizzas or burgers?
Pizza.
Smoothies or ice cream?
Ice cream.
In 3 years, what will change within the community that you are serving?
More people are seeing mental health therapy as their overall health support for their health, not a taboo, not as a sign that you're crazy, but just like you go to get your teeth cleaned, you go for your yearly physical, you see your therapist.
Wow. The legacy that you would like to leave for your family.
Mm, generational wealth, um, and love and care for all.
Mm. All right. That's it. That's a wrap. So tell us, where could we find you? Where could we book your fabulous services? Where?
Yes, you can find me at thepointoflightcounseling.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, The Point of Light Counseling. I can also be reached at 646-437-6949.
And we're
And
done.
I,
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for joining the show.
yes,
We have to have you come back again.
I would love to be here. I so appreciate the invite. This has been wonderful. You are doing great work. I so appreciate it. Thank you.
And we look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Yes.
Sending you virtual kisses. Bye
Mwah.
bye.
Same here. Bye.
So I told you all this is amazing information that we are sharing. Mental health is not optional, specifically for the entrepreneur in general as a human, but specifically in the space that I'm in as a mom, it's not optional. So I want to encourage you all to really consider and think about what our guests mentioned in terms of those tips. Yes, write it down, find a safe space, and celebrate all of your successes. Like how amazing and practical tips that we can take and use going forward. I want to also mention that please, 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 this is where we and I believe the being intentional with supporting other entrepreneurs, right? So yes, Pamella is an entrepreneur who happens to be in the space of therapy. Please like, share, follow information that she shares on all of her social platforms, and also take the opportunity, if you are in need of those services, please book. It's an opportunity for you if you want to find someone who looks like you. She happens to be a woman of color. And so it's an opportunity for you to support someone in a safe space that happens to mirror your image. So either way, she's still amazing. Either way, it's an opportunity for you to support her and take care of yourself in the process. So I also wanted to share that if you are looking for some of our services at 11375, we are an MWBE certified business consultancy that provides foundational education for small businesses. The business is really intentional about supporting and filling the educational gap. We provide facilitation services, project management services within our business. So our information is there. You can call, like, follow us on all the social platforms under 11375, and we'll be definitely happy to provide any services within that realm and space specifically for you. So I want to thank you so much for joining another episode of The Real Journey of the Entrepreneur. Please stay tuned because there are a lot of amazing entrepreneurs who have the courage to be able to share this space with me. I want to thank you so much. Take good care.